This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
Woo! You now rocking with One Nation Radio. Welcome to the program. James Boy, Richard Latta, and a couple friends with the show for your wrestling needs. Shopping out the wrestler, the IWC. We gon' tell her how it is. We gon' shoot from the hip. If they putting out trash, we gon' rip from the bits. Make sure that you tweet us and you rate the shows. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Now let's get it on the road. Hey. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports. One Nation Sports.
Welcome to One Nation Radio. And now here are your hosts, Rich Latta and James Boyd. Thank you for listening.
SocialSuplex.com. BWB, what's up?
What's good? It's Wale, and this is One Nation Radio. You already know.
Welcome to the January 7th edition of One Nation Live. James, what's going on, man?
Not too much. Just ready to talk about the Tokyo Dome.
The Tokyo Dome, indeed. So the other day was Wrestle Kingdom 12, the most anticipated event of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling. After a legendary 2017 year, this was kind of like the icing on the cake for it. James, what were your overall thoughts on the show?
Full disclosure, I sort of cherry picked the matches. I think there are probably 3 or 4 matches I did not watch. But the top matches, I thought they all, aside from maybe the Tanahashi match, I think they pretty much all achieved what they were going for. I think you know, what do we have between the Cody match, the Omega match, the Okada match, the 4-way for the light heavyweight title. I think you have 4 matches that are all 4 stars or better there. So, did any of them break the Meltzer scale again and go for 6 stars? No, but I think given the pressure that was put on this card, I think it lived up to the hype.
Yeah, man. I was definitely enjoying the show for all the way from the New Japan Rumble. I watched I watched the entire Wrestle Kingdom show, then watched New Year's Dash after it. So it was a full day of wrestling for me yesterday, and I'm ready to talk about all of it. I definitely enjoyed Wrestle Kingdom 12. I don't think it was on the legendary level of Wrestle Kingdom 11. That being said, it is still probably an all-time great card. So I found it much more in the vein of Wrestle Kingdom 10 rather than Wrestle Kingdom 9 or 11. So maybe they're on a odd year legendary streak. But I was just about to say I don't think it's on par with 9 either. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, let's get to it. Straight from the last match of the night, Kazuchika Okada defeated Tetsuya Naito and he retained the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. James, the first question I'm going to ask you: who let Okada wear those pants, bruh?
Well, obviously the answer is Geto. That's Geto's fault. You know why? Because that man can't ever see nothing. That's his fault. If you lift up the bandana, you see the atrocity that is these extra 80% of pants that no one ever asked Okada for, and that's what we ended up with. That's what we ended up.
Man.
He looked, like the face cards, like the King and the Queen and the Jack, and on playing cards.
Yeah.
You know that they wear like a whole bunch of multi-pattern shit, and none of it actually makes any sense. Like, why would anybody actually wear this? Like, that's what Okada's pants like they were made out of. They look like they were made out of the same joints that like Jackson Kings and Queens be wearing, except instead of it being like yellow and red and gold and white, it was purple and red and silver and gold and black. Like, this man matching 5 colors, looking like an Air Jordan Airway after like 2008.
Bruh, I think Okada needs to just stick with the black and gold and the short joints. Because I don't know who told him this was cool. And apparently this has kind of become a divisive thing online. Like, either you're down with the pants or you're not. If you are down with those pants, let us know why. Because I don't get it. I thought he kind of looked like Fandango. Josh said he looked like the Disco Inferno. And the pants, like, were just, like, it was really, like, jarring. Like, now, if this is, like, a one-time thing for Wrestle Kingdom, okay, whatever. And then he wore it the next night on New Year's Dash, cool. Like, he wanted to wear some new gear, try something out for a big show, I'm fine with that. But these pants better not ever come back, bro, or I'm going to have a major, like, problem with this.
You know my biggest issue with the pants are, and like, just for the record, just to state for the account, I do not hate these pants or think they're like the worst thing ever. Like, much like the same thing when SummerSlam 2016, when the crowd completely like takes away from Rollins Balor because they want to shit on a belt. Like, I did not hate these pants that much. I just thought they look ugly, and that's it. That's all I really have to say about it. But you know me, I gotta get jokes off.
Right.
But
right, that's what we're here for.
Ultimately, I'm looking at the pants, and I thought to myself, these pants would be perfectly fine if they were just like in the style of his typical shorts. Like, if you just kept the short, if you cut off the legs, like they're jorts or whatever, like they're, cut off.
This man's wearing bell bottoms out here.
Yeah, it was just, and I said to you when I saw it, like, I think maybe the situation was they couldn't make him form fitting because that material won't stretch or something, or it'll tear, or he won't have mobility or whatever else. And if that's the case, fine. But like, if that's the case, then like, go with the shorts, leave the pants, leave that to somebody else to figure it out.
So what do you think of this decision for Okada to retain the title? Because this seems to be pretty controversial. Everyone kind of felt like it was Naito's time. I predicted a Naito victory, but has New Japan earned the right to do this and then not be questioned for it? Because if this was WWE and it was like a guy that people were calling the hottest star and you beat him, I think there would be like a fire going off, but this might be the best example of that thing we call insurance with New Japan. So like with Naito, what did you think about this whole deal?
Well, first things first. I think only this podcast would start off the main event of the Tokyo Dome. And then start with talking about somebody's pants, some fashion, hashtag fashion, as opposed to talking about like the decision, which is one of the biggest decisions in like this year in all of pro wrestling.
Priorities.
Okay, so when I saw it, I came from a different state. When I first saw it, I was on Twitter just scrolling through, looking at stuff and like avoiding everything that said that was around Wrestle Kingdom on my timeline the morning of January 4th. So then, and I did pretty good. I avoided every single spoiler except for one thing. I saw a picture. I don't know if you remember this, but after the match, after he hits the Rainmaker to put away Naito, Okada goes over face forward in a prone position, and like it looks like he's knocked out cold. So somebody had a picture that I scrolled around on my timeline. And also, I see somebody have a picture of him face on the floor. I'm thinking, oh my God, Naito knocked this dude out. So I came to the match thinking like, okay, well, I already know who won. Like this, if you're gonna put a dude over strong, fine. Like they can always have a rematch. They wrestled each other a bunch of times already anyway. That's fine, cool, whatever. So like, I'm watching the match and I'm thinking like, where is this blow coming? Where it's like some gigantic knockout thing, and it never comes. And Okada wins. I'm thinking, oh, okay, he basically fell down face forward due to exhaustion. Okay. But for me, I was really surprised by Naito retaining the title. I thought that they would have. I'm sorry, with Okada retaining the title, I really thought that they would have won with Naito as a new champion because he's so hot. The crowd was dying for him to win. Even while he's doing heelish things, he's spitting on Okada, and they still going for him. I mean, this is one of those situations where credibility means a lot. If this was a company with a bad track record or a company that does not protect their championship, we would think this is bad. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I think over 6 years there's only been 4 champions, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so like they're pretty. I mean, I'm sure eventually it'll be 7 when you get. I'm sure Omega will become champion over the next 2 years or so. But they protected this belt. Okada has put it on the line and represented that belt as probably as well as I can imagine anyone possibly being able to do. So if that's where you want to go, I would have did this title switch. but it's not my company. And like they built up so much credibility. It's almost like, yeah, they could have done this, but like, let's see what they do.
And I think the biggest thing to remember with this is under every circumstance possible, they are trying to get it in everyone's head that this guy he's the greatest wrestler to ever live. Like, he's going to turn back all your favorites. He's going to be the guy that is just going to dominate. And a strange parallel existed, and this actually came up between me, Josh, and Jeremy. I was like, man, think about this. Okada's main eventing his 4th consecutive Wrestle Kingdom right now, right? And no one's mad about it.
Yep.
This is like such a strong antithesis to what's going on in WWE at the moment. And I think Okada is a guy that they took a risk on when he was, when no one knew, what he could be. And they decided that, he can do it. And he immediately from day one just became the man. And if they're going to ride that guy that they've had, 4 years of success with and who's only 30 years old, I mean, Naito's like 34, maybe 35. Omega's like the same age as Naito. If they want to stick with this guy that's younger, like, I don't have an issue with that. And the fact, like, he's already now like the longest reigning GP heavyweight champion ever, it makes you think, like, now after he beats Naito, it's like you have no idea when he's going to lose the belt now, because everyone's kind of circling the Tokyo Dome like, yeah, that's when he's going to come off it. But as we are seeing, the ace typically doesn't lose in the Dome, and I don't know how I talk myself into thinking otherwise beforehand.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is when you just compare and juxtapose both companies. I think the main thing is, like, New Japan listens to what their fan base wants. So, and the perfect example is, after Daniel Bryan comes back in 2015 for the Royal Rumble, and they have that match, and they do the whole thing where they're putting them together or whatever else. Like, there's no fan vote to see if Roman Reigns should be moved down the card and whatever else, and then they try over, and then they start him over, or he goes in exile in Mexico and comes back. There's none of that. It's just, we have controversy. All right, we're gonna do what we want anyway. Yeah, like, it's not the same. It's not the same thing at all.
Yeah, it's.
And this is the thing: if they had tried this or whatever, and it started over, like, you can imagine, like, how hot Roman Reigns would be right now if he had got a chance to turn heel and then, like, been the most hated guy in the company and they had a chance to, like, earn it back. You know how much we would like possibly love this dude by now.
Yes,
it's been like 4 years.
A couple comments.
Or close to 4 years.
I didn't see him pop up in my phone where we're going live from this, so excuse me if we don't see him, but I do have the laptop up. Miguel Capellan says it's smart of New Japan for him keeping the belt. He's the Cena of New Japan. I think Tanahashi's more the Cena, but this guy's like, he's another level. Like imagine if it worked out. Like, imagine if it worked out when they wanted to, if everyone was just like kind of cool with with Roman Reigns, taking over for him.
I wouldn't even say this. Here's a perfect example. If they never had Triple H or whatever else bury Randy Orton, and if Randy Orton came through and gave a fuck all the time, that's what Okada is for New Japan.
Howard said James is right about the pants thing opening the show. Of course, One Nation Radio, we do things a little bit different over here. Because we have all these jokes ready ready to unload on y'all. But
who do you think made those? Niche or Peli Peli?
I think you got to go with Nietzsche, because like that kind of has like more that Japanese vibe. Like Nietzsche is kind of like a little bit more. Over there with it. So,
look, it's funny
would someone from the Midwest wear Okada's pants?
From the Midwest?
Yes, like an old player from the Midwest.
I mean,
that would be that heat. Look, that'd be that heat, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like, speaking of other fashions, y'all didn't I sent it to you, Jeremy, Rance, Simon, and Sierra, but nobody responded. Like, when your boy Ospreay came in and he was out here wearing the purple velvet sleeveless robe. Nobody responded to my question.
I didn't even remember that. Like,
oh yeah, bro, I saw it and I was like, yeah, he comes out. I'm like, all right, so
Simon said no, they would not. So, Simon from Chicago.
Okay,
I guarantee. Right. Hey, Simon, I guarantee you got an uncle that would think that was kind of fly.
Yeah. And I'm sure he has, and this uncle probably has acquaintances by the name of like Dollar Bill and stuff like that.
Oh man,
super, Anyway, but yeah, Ospreay had this purple joint on, and I said to myself, I wonder what Omega Sci-Fi brother he stole that from.
Damn.
And when they catch him, what the kind of beat down they gonna put on him. Qs don't play about that kind of thing.
Right.
But also, look, you also know if he stole that from the Q, you know what that means, right?
What?
That means that velvet was stolen from like multiple bags of Crown. Multiple Crown Royal bags.
Unbelievable.
And it was stashing together.
It's crazy. Yeah, what up, JC? We're actually going to get to that, and I've got a bunch of questions lined up at the end. I will go ahead and put that one off to the side and make sure we answer that. So up next, we had Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho in the culmination of their epic and now I want to say legendary rivalry. These guys, from beginning to end, the start of the angle to the match, delivered as good as you probably can. James, what did you think about this match?
I loved it.
Me too.
I think this is my second favorite Jericho match of all time. I think the only other match that I like more is the WrestleMania 28 match, which was CM Punk, and that's sort of a special thing for me because, like, Rich, I hated Jericho until he came back because I was a kid and he was always a jerk and he always wanted to like take Luchador's mask and be a chicken shit heel that was like out here arguing with JJ Dillon about the WCW rule book, like, and that dude came up and was a geek when he's in like everywhere he went, like the Goldberg stuff, like fuck that guy. And then he has to run in 2012, almost like a year into like 6-7 months after we had got back into wrestling, and he was fantastic. So like I turned the corner on him knowing that I was just a kid. I ain't know no better. But yeah, like this, but that WrestleMania 28 match was like a thing that kind of be like, okay, like I get it now. I get it. And then this is part of the proof of like WWE, and this is a WWE match. That match is really a WWE match. Like once they get back into the ring after all of the commotion at the beginning with Jericho, like, trying to kill all of the Red Shoes family, like it turns to a WWE match. And I think a lot of the reason why it stood out so much is you see the structure amongst all the chaos when you watch enough WWE, because all their matches are more or less the same. But when you can do these other elements and make it look a little different from here, some variations opposed to babyface shine, somebody gets thrown out of the ring, flip dive, commercial break, comeback, and the babyface is now in a rest hold. You don't know what the fuck happened, and then like they're just doing moves and moves and moves until they get to the near falls at the end. Like once you get past that, like you just see the structure of their matches. Like it's a reason why they do this, because there's so many. It's a solid foundation to have a match. And like Jericho, seeing that he's wrestled somewhere everywhere, he can apply everything he's learned over all this time to that foundation he's had with WWE for 18 years, and have this match in Japan after all these years and after all these decades of not wrestling there ever. Like it was great. It was great.
I'm going to take it a step further. I think
general. Like this is. Sorry?
I was going to take it a step further. I think this is the best Jericho match I've ever seen. You know, and there's arguments, you know, for the Jericho and Shawn Michaels stuff, but then, you know, I think when you take everything into account, where you have the degree of difficulty, the pressure that's on Jericho to deliver in this moment, his age at the moment right now, the opponent that is basically unfuckwittable, and then you come in there and hold your own. I think, I don't know about you, and I might be, you know, a little bit high on this. I haven't seen anyone else say it, but I thought it was still a 5-star match yesterday. These guys like had 3, maybe 4 different sections in that match. Like, as you mentioned, the shit with Red Shoes, the fact that they did the juice, the fact that they did all the V triggers, all the big moves, the innovative reversals and counters, the violence, I thought it was a masterpiece with those guys. And I think it's like, you know, a lot of people are asking this, like, does Jericho have a legit claim to being the GOAT after this match? I don't
know. Like, I mean, the thing for me is, I would give that match a 4 3/4. I wouldn't give it 5. I feel comfortable not even giving it 5. Now, that being said, like, a 4.75 ain't nothing to sniff at. Like, there's only are there even 20? We don't last year was like the greatest year of wrestling ever. We didn't even have 20 of those. We had like 15. Less than that, maybe.
I'm not sure. I have to check on that, but it's in that range.
Yeah, we had like a dozen 15 4.75 matches. Like, ain't nothing to sniff at. Now, me saying earlier about the WrestleMania 28 match, I think this is his best match ever, but I still have an emotional attachment, a sentimental attachment to 28. But I think this is his very best match. I really do. This is his, he's 47 now?
47.
At 47, he just had his best match. After over 25 years of wrestling, this is his best match.
Crazy.
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Like, I think the only thing that will hold Jericho back is like him not being the long reigning top star. But this might be, you know, a situation where he basically takes this entire year in New Japan and he sees how hot New Japan is, because there's almost no one in wrestling smarter than Jericho, right? So if he knows he has, you know, what he could do in WWE right now, and it won't really create, like, you know, the waves that he wants. Jericho gets to look like he's doing it his way. He gets to wrestle against hot opponents right now, like he just did the thing with Omega. James, have you seen New Year's Dash yet?
No, I have not.
Or do you know?
I have not seen anything with New Year's Dash. Like, I heard something about it's going to be him and Naito.
Yes.
But that's it, though.
Yes, he jumped out on Naito at New Year's Dash, and then that's like going to be the beginning of his next feud. So if Jericho goes through like those big 4 or 5 at you know, in New Japan, and then comes back to WWE, you can't tell me that he's not a bigger star or a super top guy, like in the vein of at least Triple H. At least.
Oh, well, here's the thing, right? So, if you ask anybody with a reasonable amount of wrestling background or familiarity with pro wrestling outside of just WWE, like, if you ask them who's the better wrestler, Jericho or Triple H, I don't think there are many people that say Triple H. I think most people rightly say Jericho. But the thing is, one guy was overpushed, and another guy was, you know, for a lot of his career, treated like the Miz is treated right now, except like super duper elitely talented, where the Miz is not that in the ring. So I think you're onto something, especially with the AJ Styles stuff. When you include, like, look what WWE thought of AJ Styles, like, leaving TNA, and look what 2 years of in TNA in the Indies, and look what 2 years of being in Bullet Club and being in New Japan and the Indies did for him, where he comes in and then, like, immediately they make him a guy that always has a storyline and something going on at all times as a 2-time champion. So there is definitely something to it. It's crazy that, like, given that Jericho's already a first ballot Hall of Famer in WWE history,
that he's still adding to his current legacy. It's not no legacy shit with him right now.
Well, yeah, like, you have that. And then, like, last year, his last WWE was probably the best, like, the most popular run of his career, like the most over he ever was. Now, he's about to get now he's about to be in New Japan for who knows how long. But it's gonna be. I mean, if it keeps up at this rate, he comes back he might fuck around and beat. They might have to fuck around and give him a run at the championship. Yeah. And they can't bullshit it like they've done all these other times with him over his year. He's actually the quote unquote man.
Right. And that's insane to think about, because if you listen to One Nation Radio, if you follow this, as I scream damn near at the top of my lungs, it's time to get these old motherfuckers out of here. Jericho is the clear exception to that rule, and he has been, because he never really leaves.
But the thing is we don't really mind the old guys if they have something to contribute that is of quality and is not.
They just showing up.
And it's not in spite of the top talent on the current day roster. Jericho gets in and interacts with the other guys, and Russell has feuds with them, whether it's AJ Styles or whether it's teaming with Owens and then feuding with Owens, or whether it's your boy Ambrose or whoever else. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Batista come back for a whole time, and then literally, he came back, he got in there and mingled up with people. People weren't enthused about him being in the main event for WrestleMania 30 because they wanted Daniel Bryan, which is it should have been news. It should have been gigantic light bulb for them going into WrestleMania, going into Royal Rumble 2015, and this wasn't gonna fly with Roman Reigns either. Who the fuck is Roman Reigns compared to Batista in WWE history? I don't know why they didn't think that was a good idea, but when you have Undertaker, who's literally only here once a year or twice a year, or does one match a year for now going on to what 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
When you have Triple H who shoots an angle, literally now at this point he shoots an angle 4 months before it's even Royal Rumble time, or not even that far. Let's say a couple months before it's even Royal Rumble time. You just sitting there wait, what? I don't. What's going on?
Yeah.
They're not actually a part of the fabric of the everyday product. When Jericho was there, when Batista was there, they were.
It's a tough question. I think you can make that argument for Jericho. And the thing with Jericho, how we say of course Yao Ming's a Hall of Famer. You have to add in everything he's done around the world. Right. Pau Gasol, you have to add in everything. What he
Tony
was
Parker,
for his country.
Manu.
Tony Parker, you have to add in everything. I think that's the blueprint for the argument that if you want to make the argument that Jericho is the greatest ever, right? You have to be all right, who's done this style? All these different styles for all these different years, always reinvented himself, and got out of the shadow of being the quote unquote next Shawn Michaels. He's Jericho. I don't want to hear that shit from anyone ever again. I haven't thought about that as far as the Shawn Michaels comparison since the WCW, or since the Attitude Era, Monday Night Wars, Ruthless Aggression, or early beginnings of the Ruthless Aggression era. I haven't thought about that since he was on WCW the Cruiserweights or whatever, or when he was Y2J. Past that, I don't think there's really much of a when I think of when you think of any bit of the 08 Jericho run when he's the heel or whatever. You don't think of that as being Shawn Michaels at all. That was in the past. When he's young and he's trying to find himself or whatever else, and find himself in the business. That's different now. By that point, he was already not. He was already been a top guy or a main eventer for years at that point and whatever. He's transitioned out of that. That's a way old argument. That's almost like the first couple of years of LeBron. They're he's and they compared him to Jordan. Is well, after watching that dude play for X number of years, can we stop this now? They're not the same thing at all. Yeah.
Their games aren't even the same.
Shouts out to Chris Jericho. Definitely shouts out to Kenny Omega. Did you want to get these jokes off on Omega's outfit?
Oh no, we're not done with Jericho. After watching the match, I said to you that I thought Jericho outperformed Kenny Omega. You said that I was crazy.
Yes.
Why?
Because it was a match with two people that both did insane shit the whole time.
Okay. as opposed to last year when everyone said that Omega outperformed Okada. You know what I meant by that.
So who came out? What do you mean by that?
The whole match is based on the fact that he's a fucking lunatic. He's off the hinges. He's off the weed, off the molly, off all that. He's lost his mind. He's like, you know what? I'm going to say it. He had reached Terry Funk's level of crazy during that match.
That's what I've been saying.
To kill Okada.
That's what I've been saying, bro. He's the new he's like Terry Funk remixed right now.
Hey, bro, I have a list of all the stuff during the match. I just rewatched it, right?
All right.
So these are the pros and cons of both performances, right? Between both of them. Like, now, for the record, I think I'm only pointing out specific character stuff throughout the match and stuff that got over in the match and small things in the match that they elevated the match that were based off of one person in particular, right? And then also the cons of this are also things that I thought they did small things to hurt the match. They did very little to hurt this match. I have 4 or 5 things that they did to hurt this match, and probably like 20 things that I thought that they did to make this match even better than it would have been otherwise, with people that were less experienced, right?
All right.
So, all right, as far as Jericho jumps Omega from behind before the bell even starts. Then challenges the Young Bucks to a fight. Then shoves the Young Boys that were restraining him in the corner. Then the match starts. Then at the beginning of the match, during the first during the first Waltz Jericho, Red Shoes he calls Red Shoes an idiot for counting to 5 for a rope break in a no DQ match. Then after all the stuff when they end up outside the ring after the giant crash through the table onto Don Callis, Jericho slaps on the Waltz Jericho. He snaps and shoves Red Shoes to the floor because he was trying to make him release the Waltz Jericho in a no DQ match for the second time. Then he slaps the lion tamer on Red Shoes' young lion son while repeatedly shouting, "Look at your son! Look at your son!" Like, girl, he lost his mind. He's crazy. So Jericho flips. So then there's like a hope spot where like Omega is starting to get the better of Jericho. He quickly counters and flips a table over on top of this dude, and then he sits back in a chair because exhaustion will not stop Jericho from achieving peak quickness. Then later in the match, they ended up where he pulls out the table, and then he pulls out the table. He sees Masahiro Chono. He says, "You see this, Chono? You see this?" It was like, it was just funny. Then next thing you know, they're still outside, and he muscles the cameraman for his camera, and he takes a picture of Omega who's out there staggered and bumbling, and then he takes pictures of him flipping off the Tokyo ground in first person view. Like, it was incredible. Like, so. Then Omega, right? Omega stuff is like the gigantic bumps he took in this match to get it over, right? So that missed springboard he did, we talked about when he went through the table onto Callis. That was incredible. When he almost broke his tailbone off and sliding off of that table that he put on top of Jericho for the double foot stomp, like that was scary as hell. Jericho, after he sets on the table, they did a fake spot where they were going to tease the power bomb through the table. He ended up taking a power bomb to the floor. That was scary as hell. That had to hurt. He does the suicide Terminator flip onto the ramp, and Jericho could barely spot him. And then like when you get to the end of the match where it's like just so great, when he slaps on that third and final Waltz Jericho, and he turns to the lineman tamer, and there's no, and Jericho has literally like beat the hell out of Red Shoes for trying to get in the way of all this stuff. He says to Red Shoes going to call the match because he knows he can't protect Omega, and Omega is begging and pleading and grabbing him by the hand to make sure he doesn't call the match. Like, that was great by Omega. But Omega did some stuff in this match. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, the whole thing is he's a baby face working from underneath because Jericho's the biggest prick in the world. And he blazed in this match. And then, literally on commentary, Callis says, Kenny has lost a significant amount of blood. When will that become a factor? Literally within 6 seconds, of him saying this, Omega goes over to the railing, grabs a bottle of water, and washes his face. His face is not like a crimson mask. Half his face is covered in blood. I was like, are you killing the gimmick? What are you doing?
I didn't have a problem with that because the whole thing, like I don't know. I just didn't have an issue with that.
It pulled me out of the match. I was like, what? Like, imagine if you're Chris Jericho, right? One of your biggest gripes with WWE over the years, especially with the Batista thing. Remember when Batista and them got fined like $250,000 or whatever?
Yes.
Batista did.
Yes.
Because of blading, right?
Yep.
You come to Japan, you're fighting overseas, you bust your ass in this match, you're putting on one of your best performances of your career, maybe the best performance of your career. And then this prick who's not bleeding uncontrollably, his bleeding's already stopped. Pours water on his face to stop it. Otter came out there and punched him right in his spot again to make it bleed again. I couldn't believe that. Yeah, I mean, like Jericho did some stupid stuff too. Like he was like the third and final when he finally let go of him for the. He let go of the walls of Jericho. They didn't make no sense. Omega, I didn't like the spot he did with the aerosol can. I appreciate the fact he got himself out by Mason. Jericho.
Well, the Young Bucks, that's their thing, and I think they left that there under the mat. It was supposed to be like they left that there in case like Ken needed it or something.
No. Him Mason was fine, but like the Dean Ambrose-ish stuff, like you know how we always say good Dean and bad Dean.
Yeah.
Bad Dean would have did the aerosols can where he sprayed his pits in his privates.
Oh,
and we would have been like, oh god. Like, if Dean Ambrose did it, it would be like, here goes Wacky Dean again.
Well, the crowd liked it. Like, they popped for it, and I got a good laugh out of it. That man was trying to fire up James, you know, on all fronts.
Yeah, apparently so. But either way, we ultimately we want to match.
I think it's breaking up a little bit.
15 best match this year, so props to both of them. They balled out.
Yeah, man. The next match on the card and we're running like super behind now, but it was Hiroshi Tanahashi and Jay White. But I think we'll be able to get through some of this. Was the moment too big for Jay White here? This wasn't received as a great match. I didn't think Tanahashi would lose 3 times in a row in the Dome. Was this more a combination of Tanahashi being broke down? I say no, but or Jay White's inexperience at this this level.
I think he's just beat up. I mean, I know he's a psychology master, but. Like, there's some things where, like, there's only but so much arsenal you can like take away from somebody, or so many tools in the toolbox you can take away from somebody, without actually affecting how well they're able to put together a piece. So, I mean, on the other hand, you do have a dude that's inexperienced, and that doesn't help him either. But like, it was a good match. I would dare say it was a really good match. It just wasn't on par with like some of the top stuff we saw on this card. And I mean, I don't think it should have been either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like Jay White, there's something about his face to me. It just looks weird. It's like he just looks like a kid. Like he needs to like grow some facial hair. He needs to like get some roughness or some toughness in his face a little bit. He needs to look a little bit more weathered for that whole switchblade thing to really connect with me.
Right, but do you disagree with like we have four of the matches we put on here we think are all going to be great? Like, do we need Ace to come out here? Like, beat up as he is, to come out here and try to hurt himself even more?
I mean, that's just what this dude does at this point. Like, he's already wrestled so much on the bicep where he can't fix it anymore.
How long was the match?
It was 19 minutes and 56 seconds. So
yeah, that ain't that's not a normal situation for Tanahashi. He normally would wrestle 25 to 30 minutes.
Right. And Tanahashi was still doing a lot of stuff. Like, he was still doing the high fly flow to the outside of the ring. He was still doing all the sling blades. He was still, being Tanahashi. I think it was just a combo of, like, them trying to do 2 different matches in one. It was like they wanted to do a body part match, but at the same time, they wanted to try to turn it up at the end. And it just kind of got lost for me there.
Yeah.
But let's see, the IWGP Junior match. I have a hot take for this one, James. I did not enjoy this match.
What?
I did not enjoy this match, and
that match is incredible. That's some of the best sequences you'll ever see anywhere, ever.
Nope.
Okay, your note is like, all right, that match is going to get at worst 4 stars. At worst.
So
that match is incredible.
So, like, my biggest issue with the match was, it was like, all right, the guys that are the most over in this match are probably Takahashi and Ospreay at this point. Kushita's kind of like, everyone's kind of looking at him now like, man, you've been in this division a really long time. We know you're good. We appreciate you and everything, but we like to see you move up, you know, and anything. And Takahashi has all the juice in the world right now, right? Ospreay ended up getting the win, but this match was just built. It seemed like there were long, boring portions of Marty Scurll and then a bunch of moves just being done. And, you know me, I like senseless moves and whatever like that, but there was just like something about this match where I was like, this isn't good.
Have you rewatched the match?
No.
I suggest you rewatch the match. Like, I don't. Okay.
And Marty Scurll's boring, so for the record.
There's a lot
everybody.
Of stuff. Huh?
And Marty Scurll is boring, everybody, for the record. Go ahead.
I wouldn't call him boring as much as I would say that he was clearly the person that's supposed to be the downer in the match. Like, it's also like all he did was like all of a sudden, okay, so the bell rings, he gets out the ring and he says, y'all fight because y'all are idiots, y'all go ahead and tire yourself out and I'll come in and I'll break up stuff because I'm a jerk. Like, I don't see that as any different than like the old AOP, DIY and Revival matches where Revival was like, y'all can have it, I'll wait. So there you have that part of it. Then you look at all the stuff he did in the match where he was basically like coming in and basically ruining finishes or whatever else and doing all this work to basically stymie people in advantageous situations. It reminded me a lot of the Fatal 4-Way for the IC title between The Miz, Zayn, Owens, and Cesaro from last year. It was like the same exact character work. So like, and that match was great because of The Miz doing that kind of stuff. So, and I enjoyed it. Like, I just ain't with you on this one, bro. I think you need to rewatch this one. Like, I love this. I didn't love this match. Like, it was the greatest thing ever, but like, I thought this match was a 4-star match.
Like, I thought, I didn't feel like I was seeing something special like I did last year with Takahashi and Kushida. I felt like the only time the crowd really turned up, was when Takahashi was getting on offense, and that was like right before the match was about to end. And he's the guy with the juice, and they didn't even feature him at all. So, I don't know, man. It was a swing and a miss for me.
Well, it is a mostly Japanese crowd, and the person they made like the superhero in this match was Ospreay, so there is something to that. But like for me, from my perspective, because I'm not Japanese, I don't watch New Japan like that. Like I know of Ospreay, I know of all these guys, but so like to me they're all stars. So like I wanted to see them, and like Ospreay did some incredible stuff, so I was into it. And like I don't know, man. Like I thought the spots that Scroll did, where he's breaking people's fingers, or whatever, where he got his own fingers broken after doing that to other people. I thought that was poetic. I thought that the situation where he ties up Takahashi after he breaks the other hand, where he basically like, you can't do this because your other hand's broken, so you can't even get through all this tape. So you just stuck here for a while. You're in timeout. Like I thought that was great. I thought Kushida, basically doing all the stuff that Takahashi had done to him over the last year. I thought that was great. I don't know, man. Like, I mean, the psychology I was off because, you know, it's those guys, it's all of those flippy dippy guys, as we like to jokingly say, and it's 4 of them, so there's no really time for anything to breathe, really. But other than that, like, there was a point in the match where like, I had no idea who was going to win, and I thought it was great. Like, and they did a lot of stuff in there, like, from a timing perspective that I thought was really, really difficult to do, and they pulled it all off.
Yeah. The next match, Hiroki Goto and Minoru Suzuki in a hair versus hair death match, essentially, for the Never Openweight Championship. This was a motherfucking war. And up to this point, this is my favorite match on the card. These guys... Like, Goto was bleeding from the mouth. Minoru Suzuki ended up having to shave his head. I really got into this one a lot. It was like the strong style match of the night. I felt like Ishii was proud backstage watching it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any reason in particular why you called it a hair death match or a death match?
That's just how it's listed on Wikipedia.
Okay, well, I have a reason. Like, once you said it, I know I was a death match.
Because you would have died from any of that shit happening to you?
Nope. It's a death match because Minoru Suzuki, after cutting off that hair and throwing it down and looking pissed that he had to do that, he's going to kill Goto. Hiroki Goto will no longer be with us, like, going into 2019. That will not be a thing. Like, that man is going to pay for what he wanted to bravely do. It's going to be the end of him.
Yeah, I thought Goto was like, he came off, like, I've said in the past, like, Goto isn't the guy to bet your money on, but he's a guy that I think everyone just wants to see do well because he's so good, but there's just something missing from him. But he gets put in these situations, Wrestle Kingdom after Wrestle Kingdom, to deliver, like, third or fourth from the top and solidify, like, the greatness of the show, and I feel like he comes through every single year, and definitely shout out to him.
Yeah. I mean, and also R.I.P. because, like, you finna die. Like, you not, bro. I'm telling you, like, after watching that with Suzuki, like, with Minoru Suzuki, bro, like, you don't want no smoke with that dude. Like,
no.
There are guys like, I mean, there are heels like Jericho who are, you know, they're pricks, they're mean, they're unlikable guys like Jericho performance at Tokyo Dome this year. There are guys that you think are tough as shit. Like, but there are very, very, very few guys that aren't like Kane at the start of his gimmick, where, like, you think, like, this dude is put on earth just to be, like, his whole gimmick is to be evil and cruel. Yeah. Like, he's not like, yeah, there's some toughness there or whatever else, but, like, that dude is cruel and mean, and, like, you gonna pay. And, bruh, he gonna pay for this.
So, I don't know if you heard, Suzuki has moved on to target Tanahashi for the Intercontinental title going forward.
God.
So we're going to be seeing Suzuki and Tanahashi, and he's going to be going after Tanahashi's legs at this point now.
Those matches are going to be great. Bruh, you know the types of holes he's going to put on that man's legs and arm? My God.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you've seen, like, the tag match, James, so I'll fly through that. That one was...
I did not.
Okay, so that one was like an awesome heavyweight tag team match, and usually this is the part of the show where I either get tired or anything like that. That didn't happen for me this year because Lance Archer and Davey Boy Smith, they are like 6'6", 6'7" guys doing every single great big man move of the last 30 years together and combining it with awesome double team work. And then the Los Ingobernables guys were fighting from underneath most of the match and finding a way just to survive it. I bid on a lot of near falls. I really enjoyed that match. And then there was the gauntlet for the never...
Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, I'm never going to like Lance Archer, am I?
No.
Like, when he came out to the ring...
When he's throwing all that water around, spitting...
He's throwing water on people and spitting on people. I was like, nope, I'm not even watching this. I'm not even going to do it. Like, that dude has heat with me. That's bullshit. I ain't spent all this money for some damn New Japan Tokyo Dome tickets. You just spit on me. Fuck out of here.
Yeah. Kota Ibushi and Cody Rhodes. Did you see this one, James?
Oh yes, I love this match. This is my favorite Cody match. This includes the Long Beach match with Okada. Like, all of the cheating. It was great. It was great. Go ahead.
I was glad to see.
I have a rundown if you want me to go through the rundown of it.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay. We start with the entrance of Cody, and Cody is behind Brandon, who looks into the dead in the camera and says that we are the best, and if you don't think that I am the best looking woman in all of professional wrestling, you're a mark.
Yeah,
it's fantastic. Like, it's just something about
you're a simple mark.
It's just something about people like talking to the the direct camera and talking shit that I just appreciate. I don't know what it is about that.
That's like Tupac. Spin the camera.
Anyway, so we start the match with a lockup into a bunch of running spots that end with Cody in a seated position, narrowly escaping a head kick and a standing moonsault. Cody then they give each other space, and then Cody then proceeds to flick off Ibushi and with an arm crank where it progressively gets more extended the finger, and I need that as a GIF because it was incredible. Ibushi hits a Hurricane Rana, and Cody ends up out on the floor. Ibushi lands a plancha, but ends up landing on Brandy too. Ibushi picks her up to take her to safety and turns around and gets rocked by Cody and drops Brandy to the floor. Cody then throws Ibushi back into the ring and checks on Brandy, and Brandy then proceeds to evilly laugh. It's a work.
Yes.
Cody hits a disaster kick for a near fall, followed by a counter. He's about outside the ring, and you get the golden triangle moonsault from Ibushi, aka the James Boyd's favorite move in the entire business.
Yes. Every time I love it.
Ring, yeah. Like, we'll get to it later, but like I'm gonna say like the golden triangle or like how Okada like saves the drop kick. Like it's like they're both just great. You get a crossroads from Cody on the apron. It looks like Ibushi could have died. You get a springboard Hurricane Rana from the top turnbuckle by Cody for a near fall. Let's see. You get a crossroads countered into a snake eyes into the second. What the second turnbuckle would be if this wasn't New Japan. Cody then stupidly decides to trade strikes back and forth with Ibushi and lose control of the match. And he gets a Bushi bombed for the near fall. There's a counter and then a Rainmaker by Cody, and actually the crowd starts yelling Rainmaker. By the way, I was watching this originally with the Japanese commentary. Dude, you should have heard how blown they were when that man pulled out that Rainmaker. They were like, Rainmaker?
The disrespect.
So they were like, wait, what? I can't believe they did this.
Yes.
Yeah, so Ibushi ducks under the disaster kick, catches Cody in the head with a head kick. He goes behind for wrist control, the big knee. Cody throws a headbutt to the gut and goes for another Rainmaker. Ibushi ducks under and throws a modified German suplex for a near fall. Ibushi still has waist control and switches that to wrist control, hits the big knee, and then lands a Phoenix Splash for the pin. 4 stars.
Yeah, I get 4 stars as well.
I'd have to watch it again, but I was on the border between 4 and 4.25, so...
Yeah,
I love the match.
Yeah, I thought it was like the perfect example of mid-card excellence or lower card, like on a big show. This is right there with Seth Rollins and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 31. This is Chris Jericho and Christian. This is Jericho and Shawn Michaels. This is all those matches in one. And Brandy Rose came out there looking like a bag of money. In the dome, and she made history out there, James. Did you know that she was the first African American woman to appear at a Wrestle Kingdom? So, shouts out to her.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know what? Ain't too much. I'm gonna just stop because it ain't too much stuff. I personally feel like we can talk about Brandy Rose without like going to be like, yeah, bro, she's fine. So let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Yeah, man, but yeah, Cody Rhodes and like he, you know, I've been definitely the more critical of Cody Rhodes like in most of the Social Suplex Podcast Network, and I definitely think he stepped up here and improved a lot. Yeah. You know, his great matches were with Okada and Ibushi, so he was able to hang in there. And so I think you got to give him his props, and I'm looking forward to see what he does next because yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that's all great. We even praise upon this dude, but like regardless of like whatever happens with him in the ring in the future or whatever else, and if he like he stays strong in front of the New Japan audience or whatnot, regardless of whatever happens with him, he's still a winner because goddamn, look at Brandy Rose.
Yes.
Good Lord. Let's just move on.
And if you ain't down with that, you're just a simple mark.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then, of course, how could we... I mean, I don't care about the never open weight match. So, the Young Bucks defeated Roppongi 3K, and I thought this was an excellent opener. The Young Bucks, basically, I think they did a match to stick the middle finger up at their detractors, right? And then did enough like Young Buckian stuff to make sure
like constantly bumping into each other.
Yes.
Like they did like one like I want to say like a suicide dive and one suicide dove right into the other one. I was like, you idiots! Like y'all love doing this stupid stuff in y'all matches.
Yes, like they did all the funny stuff. They did all the super kicks. They did all the talking and selling out. Like the Bucks are now 7-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. Those guys are like Michael Jordan level in that division. Like, it's nuts. Show and Yo, I think those guys are like super money, especially going forward. And this was the right call to go ahead and give the Young Bucks a win, because Show and Yo is going to eventually be the team that overtakes the Young Bucks. I feel like, because there's only so long that I think the Bucks are gonna do the whole New Japan thing. They've done it for a long time already, and they're eventually gonna be tasked with making Show and Yo, and this is the opening chapter in that saga. And I think Show and Yo is like really, really talented, and for New Japan, they definitely wanted to find a Japanese team to be able to benefit off of working with the Young Bucks. What do you think about that, James?
Yeah, I agree. And plus, like, they're going to be around for a while, Show and Yo. Like, in how do I say this? Do we know if they're like married or what?
No idea.
No, not to each other. I mean, like, just married. I mean, even if they were, I won't care. But
yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Okay, because like they let's hope that like they can keep their heads on straight, because
it's coming right at them.
Word on the street is they're real popular. They're real popular
out there. So, look, don't hang out with Juice Robinson. Show and Yo, if y'all listening to this, stay away from Juice Robinson. He will get you caught up in these streets. So, yeah, but that was pretty much our Wrestle Kingdom 12 review. We're going to go through some of the questions that you guys submitted in a little bit earlier. And if we're backtracking a little bit on some of the stuff we covered earlier, that's okay. But Kyle Morris says, who's going to be the one to dethrone Okada? This is a good one. Because literally, Okada has whooped the whole company's ass. Like Bret Hart in 1997.
I don't know, like, I mean, because I'm sure they're going to have another match with Naito, and I'm sure they're going to have a match sometime this year with Omega. So, those two still have the best odds, and I think I would put Naito ahead still.
So the whole thing with it, like, I think you may see the guy who wins the New Japan Cup may be the one to dethrone Okada. And I think a thing with the Tokyo Dome is it may not be the city for Naito, because Naito's over in a lot of different other parts of Japan. Like for example, like the Northeast, for example. I want to say that the Sumo Hall is like the more hardcore audience. So maybe you do his title win there. Maybe you do it in a different arena. That's the only thing that I could say there. But I think they have a real good dynamic going with Omega right now, who's doing the whole real world champion thing, and then Okada basically has beat everyone. And it's like you have these two like huge motherfuckers like at the top of the thing. So maybe they come back to that. I'd like to see that be the main event for Wrestle Kingdom 13. But next question comes from Tom Gambardella. He said, who's your pick to win the New Japan Cup? So that's right into it. So I think I'm going to pick Naito to win the New Japan Cup after he gets done with Chris Jericho, if they grow back to that soon. I'm going to pick Naito because, Omega still has a U.S. belt on him. So until he, either gets rid of that or they just decide to say screw it and do title versus title, I'll go ahead and put my chips on the most popular guy in New Japan.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah.
Nicholas Guerrero says, what do you think Vince/WWE's opinion of Jericho wrestling for New Japan is? Now, I think we should frame this. What is Vince's opinion and what is Triple H's opinion?
I think Vince don't care. Now, I think when the first time he's like, wait, what? I think he doesn't care now. Or he cares less now. Triple H probably didn't care at the beginning, but then like heard reports on the match now and was like, God damn it. because like Triple H has more of an international vision towards all of the world's wrestling, and he has an idea of like what's going on outside of just his. He actually watches wrestling outside of his own promotion,
right?
As opposed to Vince. Vince is like, all right, whatever. As long as you know, like Vince is probably like, did he get hurt? Oh, he's not hurt? Good, fine, whatever. So, but on the other end, he probably is like, damn, like we got the like Triple H probably like, damn, I don't know like what this means for us with him. Like, does the price of the brick go up now? Who knows?
Yeah, I think Triple H is looking at it. There's always been like that sneaky thing with him and Jericho never really being on the same page as each other. So I think, it'll be one of those CM Punk Triple H situations like, oh, yeah, good match. And, that Triple H voice. But, Triple H will, do his Triple H things like, can you believe that bastard went over there and did that? But Vince, I think Vince realizes there are, ways for him to benefit off of this. So, as long as Jericho doesn't come back, lesser of a performer or injured or anything, I think he's okay with it. Jeremy says, what do you think about the decision not to put on Naito even though he's red hot right now?
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but I was surprised they didn't pull the trigger. Now, I mean, granted, it's New Japan. The top guys stay top guys because wins and losses matter. And they book guys to be stars, and he's going to be a guy that's always going to be booked strongly, even if he does lose to one guy. I think this is a thing where like this is going to be something that happens down the line as opposed to it's never going to happen. So I wouldn't be too. If like you're a gigantic Naito fan, like what the fuck? I don't think you're going to be like too upset for too long.
Right.
I just think it'll be a situation where like I think Naito will be champion within the next 6 months. That's how I feel. I could be wrong, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think that Naito, it's really unfortunate for that dude. And I've heard people make the point that the story wasn't him actually winning the title from Okada in the Tokyo Dome, but the fact of just getting to the main event itself, because it was taken away from him before. And now that he has that monkey off his back, whatever, I feel like that's something folks are just kind of telling themselves.
You know what that sounds like to me?
Yeah, what?
That sounds like if CM Punk actually had, in fact, been in a triple threat at WrestleMania 29 and been like, yeah, all I want to do was the main event. That's all I ever wanted. Or whatever. I was like, okay, sure. Sounds good. I don't believe you. You need more people.
Also, that would be like CM Punk trying to tell his friends that it was a good idea for Triple H to come out of retirement and beat him and then go back into retirement. So, yeah. Who do you think will take the Intercontinental? Switching to a little bit of WWE talk, we got some questions here. What do you think, or who do you think will take the IC belt off of Roman before WrestleMania? Vacant. Unbelievable.
Yeah, bro. Like the second he beat Miz for the IC title, the first thing I said to anybody I can remember was, this is going to be WrestleMania 6. Champion versus champion, and they're going to pretend that Roman Reigns is over as the Ultimate Warrior was in 1990, and then let's like go ahead with it, and then make him a new guy, and then he'll vacate the belt because there's no point in having double title matches. And they'll have a tournament from there, and the Miz will probably win it back.
Oh my god!
That's exactly what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Miz is going to win it back after all this, 5 months from now.
I'm with you. I could definitely see them doing that. The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time against.
Yeah, and this is the thing that bothers me. Or this is the reason why, me and you had got into it a couple of weeks back about arguing over whether the Miz was the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. And then the crux of it was, well, he's a main eventer. My reason is no, he's not. He's a geek with the belt. And the thing is, and this is like a thing that's happened over the last 30 years. No, 25 years. The Intercontinental title went from being only trying to think. From when you start from Mick Foley won the title, right? Because they started hotshotting it. They started moving the WWE championship around like a hot potato. Started in 98, 99-ish. So
right.
The company started with the belt in 63, and then they only had 24 champions, over 30 years. And then they basically like start passing the belt around because at that point the belt was protected, so they felt like they could make a guy putting the belt on somebody. But after you do that for so long, the belt stops making people because they'll be like, oh, you're just a guy. And a part of that was if you weren't good enough to win the WWE Championship, if you were Roddy Piper or Bret Hart earlier, or Steamboat or Savage early in their careers, they gave you the Intercontinental belt, and you literally would be on house shows main eventing on the other side of the country from Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Like the Honky Tonk Man, for example, or Warrior, for example. Now they get because we have twice as many belts in the brand split or whatever else, and also the fact they don't protect their mid-card title because they don't give a shit, or the secondary title because they don't give a shit. Like, just because you win the title in this era a bunch of times, I'm not really buying it as you were really like that big a deal. Even like when you get to like the mid '90s when they did the belt, that didn't mean you were like the number 2 guy in the company. Like, those guys were still guys that were going to become champion in like about 5 years time. Like, those guys were eventually going to become the WWF champion, whether it was Bret Hart or Shawn Michaels or Razor Ramon, but Razor Ramon left the WCW. Like, that's not really the case now. That's just a thing they just give you. Like, how many times has like Kofi been a U.S. champion or Intercontinental champion?
Yeah, he had the reigns before, I want to say like 2012 though.
Yeah, but like they still didn't give a shit about the belts even then. Like, you can look at WrestleMania cards and see like those belts not defended on those shows and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So like, for me, maybe they can find somebody they can get it to and try to like make it matter more. Like, don't get me wrong, like Miz does a great job with it, but the thing is, Miz does a great job with it not because it's the Intercontinental title. Miz does a great job with it because he doesn't like it. I don't think the Miz things work if he doesn't have something to stick in people's faces, and as he's saying, like, you see this is a brand of excellence, and I'm better than you, even though people know, like, dude, you're not that good of a wrestler, and it burns people, it makes people hate him, and also the punchable face. So like, I think that's the reason, like, Miz needs that belt more than anybody to make his whole thing work.
He's defined this belt this decade. Like, he's what Razor Ramon was to the 90s. He's what, I don't know. He is.
Were we really going over whether or not Miz is a main eventer over again? We're doing this again.
Bro. What?
He's not a main eventer.
Bro, Miz slander will not be tolerated. He made a bit at WrestleMania.
I'm a person that likes Miz. But the thing is, Miz, ultimately, at the end of the day, Miz is a geek, and everyone knows it. People like him in spite of the fact that he is a geek, but he's still a geek.
Bro.
And a lot of this isn't because of him necessarily as much as it is the company has shitted on him for years. And you can't just remove all that shit and it's all good. People remember. That's like, Miz is the exception to the rule that WWE can bury you and make a 50-50 book you and book you at the bottom of a card and then you can come back and survive. Most instances, you end up like Dolph Ziggler. It's an achievement that he's as relevant and done as much stuff as he has over the last year and a half, 2 years.
So doesn't that speak to his greatness?
He still ultimately, at the end of the day, is a geek. If he's in the ring with Samoa Joe, he's going to die.
Look, doesn't that speak to his greatness though? Like he weighs through the 50 feet or the what was the line from Shawshank? The 500 yards of shit.
Shit spelling foulness.
Yes.
Shit spelling foulness. Yes.
Yes. The 500 yards of shit smelling foulness Miz weighs through every single time to show back up and do him. And bro, he's the man.
Right, but he doesn't draw. So what are we talking about here?
No one draws. Roman Reigns doesn't draw. Come on, man.
No. He draws. He just doesn't draw because he doesn't draw compared to John Cena.
Bruh. Roman Reigns out here wrestling in half-empty arenas right now. No one's a draw right now. WWE's the draw.
Okay. All right. So if Miz were to go independent, or AJ Styles, or Roman Reigns, you think people gonna line up to go see Miz, or you think they gonna line up to go see AJ Styles or Roman Reigns?
Well, I think they would go see AJ Styles for one.
Next.
I think they would go see AJ Styles. Roman Reigns, I'm not too sure. I don't know how that works outside of the WWE.
What else y'all want to talk about? What else are they talking about?
Anyway, Miz is a Hall of Famer. Miz is a top level star, and Miz slander will not be tolerated. The Hall of Famer
part. Just said that he's a geek because he is.
Look, let's see what else we got on this list. Dion Murphy, he says, also, do you think WWE will bring back the King of the Ring and also make a Queen of the Ring? I think it should be a cross-brand tournament. I think they have a lot on their plate right now. I don't think King of the Ring is going to work because I think Vince McMahon hates tournaments, like on the main roster, because then it forces him into, you know, doing stuff the right way. But like a Queen of the Ring tournament wouldn't be such a bad thing. But I mean, we did just have the Mae Young Classic.
If I remember correctly, I think the reason why they stopped King of the Ring is because it didn't sell well. Like after all those years, it never actually performed as well as like we remember it doing well. So I think there's that to it, and also the fact that like if you do King of the Ring, most years it has to be a heel, has to be. So when you throw in the fact that like Money in the Bank is kind of as took over that time slot before SummerSlam, and that it's actually a popular event and so popular that people feel like it should consider the top 5 over even Survivor Series. And you know, a lot of years they weren't even doing much with Survivor Series.
That actually is how it's going to be this year.
Yeah, like I think it kind of serves the same purpose because like most effective winners for Money in the Bank have to be heels because they have to be jackasses that'll come in and steal a title opportunity from you. So, or cash in a title opportunity on a vulnerable champion. So like that kind of fits in line with what King of the Ring kind of was, whereas like you're a heel and eventually you're going to get a title shot.
Yeah, man.
But I having to call somebody a king for like the rest of their careers.
Yeah, that king gimmick stuff like is just nauseating after a while. Kyle says, if Raw goes back to 2 hours, what structural changes should they make to the show / rosters? Well, I can tell you one thing.
Can I go?
Huh?
Can I go?
Sure.
You want to go first? What do you want to do?
I was going to say you just had to fire a bunch of people, but go ahead, James.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is an audio medium, so y'all can't really see what I'm doing, but Rich can see it, bruh. You know what? You know the first thing they need to do. The Cruiserweights 205 line needs to get the fuck out of here. Like it got to go that way. Yeah, that way.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they gone. Let's see. They got the redraft and even out the rosters to actually move some guys to some guys and some women to SmackDown. Yeah, like so we actually have actual balance and real brand balance. So yeah, that will happen. Yeah. Like those would be the structural changes. Like, I mean, yeah, that would be it. Like get rid of cruiserweights. And then cut down the rosters, get rid of cruiserweights, even out the difference in talent discrepancy between SmackDown and Raw. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude's getting fired. Looks like we got to one of those questions earlier.
Also, get rid of the overrun. No need for it.
They've had that for like as long as I remember.
I know. And then I remember, want to say a month or two ago. Or maybe, yeah, like somebody we were talking about. I had mentioned why the hell do they always have to have an overrun? It makes no sense. And then somebody said to me, "Well, it's supposed to boost the rating for the next show coming in." I was like, "For the network or whatever, because it makes the number look good." Okay, so why not go to 4 hours then? That's what I said. It's like if that's what your concern is, then go to 4 hours or 5 hours of Raw because you're just trying to dominate the whole entire primetime block. If it's that big of a deal, like if not, then like how about you lower this and let us have a better quality show.
Yeah, man. So the last question, I think we got to Brian's question a little bit earlier. Basically, he said if Roman won't enter and win the Royal Rumble, how does he get to Mania with Brock? Either the last to fall in a title match in the Chamber or the winner of a number 1 contenders match in the Chamber. I think you could go with that. But either way, title versus title is probably how it's going to go down. I think James told me on that. Simon will be answering the last question for Simon today. He says, the best and worst outcomes for both Royal Rumble matches. Man. I'll start. So for the women, my worst case outcome would be Ronda Rousey coming in and winning the Royal Rumble and WWE completely whoring themselves out for her in spite of all the women that are there that doing this thing, and especially like someone that they already have like Shayna Baszler, who I think is where it's at, and you can use Ronda somewhere else, and you don't have to make your whole roster bow down like the West Side Connection to her. And then like the worst outcome for me, like in the men's, I think you kind of have to go with John Cena, don't you?
I mean, like the worst case scenario.
Or
Okay,
Roman
so
Reigns. It's one of those two.
I can't think of. Huh?
It's either John Cena or Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's what the next one. Like Roman Reigns is a worse idea than John Cena. For the women, the worst case scenario for the women. Jeez. Mandy Sachs.
Okay, worse than Dana Brooke?
Yeah.
Hey, look, at least Mandy Sachs is in the absolution.
No, but Mandy Sachs is like, oh, you look kind of, sort of like Trish Stratus. So Trish Stratus in her prime. So like, we'll put you out here to like be Trish Stratus all over again. Except like, maybe you do become a good worker, maybe you don't. We don't know. But right now, you're not good.
So they basically
you have nothing going for you except for you're standing around Paige.
Yeah. So they Roman Reigns her.
Well, Roman Reigns did a little bit more than Mandy Sachs, a lot more than Mandy Sachs ever did before his push.
Oh,
like, come on now, you gotta admit, like Roman Reigns was a pretty entertaining guy in the Shield. Like the Shield was a pretty good act. Like let's not like just treat like
All right, what about
like
the last?
Seth
What about
carried Roman Reigns, and then like Roman Reigns had literally nothing going for him, and then they made a champion. Like it's not like he was Jason Jordan.
All right, what about
Jason Jordan literally had nothing going for him.
What about the last 6 months of 2014? when they were like digging that man into a deeper hole every week, without even knowing it.
Well, that's their fault. Like they should have when he was hurt for the hernia, should have come off TV. They shouldn't have been doing satellite conference link ups or progress reports. Like we care, like as if we actually gave a fuck that much about Roman Reigns. They shouldn't have had him. They shouldn't have had him come out there I mean, this is on Roman, but they shouldn't have had Roman go out there in the glare for the Rumble like he did.
Damn.
And they should have put Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble. Like it always comes back to you idiots should have never put Daniel Bryan in the Rumble with no plans to him actually winning. That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Like I think Roman would have had a lukewarm reception at WrestleMania for going into WrestleMania 31. But I do not think he would have gotten shitted on the way he did if Daniel Bryan's not in that Royal Rumble. And then later also like made to beat him while getting outperformed in the feud.
Then what's our best case scenarios?
Samoa Joe wins the Rumble. Or Braun. From the women's perspective, I mean, if Asuka's not going to be in to win the women's title at Royal Rumble, then she should win the Rumble.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Asuka thing.
So what do you think would be the better option between Joe or Strowman?
I would probably go with Joe because you can do more with him, like as far as the talking. But I'm leaning towards Nakamura. I don't think anything will get people more excited than seeing Nakamura get essentially what everyone thought was coming to him, which would be the big push towards the WWE Championship, towards AJ Styles. I still think that's the most exciting thing WWE can do to make people feel like, hey, they actually cared this year in the Royal Rumble. Way to go.
Okay, so I have a question. Do the people that have never seen him on NXT, do they have any idea what Nakamura can do?
Hell, if you never bro, NXT wasn't even the best Nakamura.
I know that. My point is the NXT Nakamura is still good enough to where oh yeah, that guy is one of the best workers in the company if they actually let him do stuff. But if you never seen that, you think he's just a guy. A Japanese guy, but just a guy.
Yeah, the way they've booked him, they be like, yeah, this dude has a really cool entrance. They don't let him wrestle every week on TV. They've made him. He's not really had any great pay-per-view matches. He's had to wrestle Baron Corbin and Jinder Mahal.
Dolph Ziggler when Dolph Ziggler's there slapping on rest holds and stuff.
Yes. Yeah. So I think they have a lot to prove with Nakamura still, and seeing the reception to Wrestle Kingdom, I think this is the perfect time to answer that with Nakamura. Now that you have one of those guys.
Okay, another question. Given that Vince thought that 10 weeks of TV time wasn't good enough to rehabilitate Finn Balor for the main event title match at Royal Rumble, do you think that Vince would look at Nakamura and then think, yeah, I can get that dude over in, what would that be, like 10, 11, 12 weeks? You think for WrestleMania title match, do you think he believed that too?
I think the fact that he's on SmackDown would probably help him in this situation, because I feel like Vince only cares about Raw. So yeah, I think if they can go ahead and convince themselves to put the WWE title on Jinder Mahal in 6 weeks, I feel like they can convince themselves to do anything. It's just
that's true.
It's just when the the inconsistency comes in, like so you can't get Finn Balor over in 10 weeks to lose a big match, but I don't know, bro. But yeah, that's pretty much it for everything here. What did you guys think of Wrestle Kingdom 12? Let us know. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Make sure you guys also check out One Nation Wrestling or One Nation Sports. You can type that in. I'm not sure like how it's listed, but that's like a short form, like 3 to 5 minute podcast that I just started on the Anchor FM channel. If you have a smartphone like everyone and their mother, download the Anchor app, find me on there, Rich Latta, and you can get all these updates that I drop throughout the week and everything like that. Make sure you check out the One Nation Wrestling YouTube channel and check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network, the Ricky and Clive Show, and also I'm sure these guys are going to have a great show prepared. Is Keeping It Strong Style, and they'll have that full Wrestle Kingdom 12 review in a little bit more depth than we did, and then the SMC podcast should be returning sometime this week. But James, you got anything to add before we get up out of here?
Oh yeah, since you mentioned Keeping It Strong Style and Jeremy and Josh. Yeah, man, so, like, y'all was planning on watching New Japan on Thursday and whatever, and then y'all didn't even, like, let me know about it after, like, we had plans to watch it later and later in the week.
All right.
Y'all just going, like, put the screws to me.
So Jan's about to blindside me on air, right? So the whole deal was, like, Josh had asked me if I wanted to watch it. I was like, all right, I'll think about it. I might do that, but I didn't ever confirm, like whether I was going to do that or not, and then I didn't even end up going.
Gotcha. So basically, like, you were like Hamlet, thinking like, should I screw over James or should I not? And meanwhile,
and I thought he was going to call
like,
you.
Yeah, fuck James. Yeah, screw that guy. We put the knife right in the back. You were like, you had a knife in your hand, and you sitting there looking like, scratch while looking at it, while contemplating, like, I wonder if I should or not. Okay.
Yeah, man. And also, I got music up on iTunes and Apple Music. You guys can go find it. You can just type in Rich Latta. You'll see it pop up. Family Music Life is due to hit all streaming services within the next couple days. So stream that, buy that, however you want to do. Support your boy. I'm trying to quit my job and everything like that. And that's going to be it. Peace.
Later.